What's up, YouTubers? It's your girl J. Cole. So I'm so excited. I'm coming at you with part 2 of these DNA results. So as you all know, I did a DNA test with Ancestry.com. And, I wanted to go a little deeper into my ancestry. So I did trace my ancestors through the migration. I found out a whole lot going on there as far as them coming in through the Virginia slave trade, and how that a lot of them ended up going to South Carolina. So apparently there's some Geechee ancestry there, and I also had some that were mixing in the Atlantic Creole movement, as well as Louisiana, Texas Creole type thing there. So I learned a lot through the migration. Some stuff I did not know, because a lot of slaves, they ended up settling in the Alabama and Mississippi area. So I just kind of wanted to know, because I'm an Alabama girl. As you all saw from my first video, I was born in Georgia, and then I ended up moving to Alabama with my immediate family. But I wanted to know the history behind how my family got to the U.S. and the migration trail that took place and all of that. So I learned a lot by Ancestry.com and studying the map and all of that good stuff. But I wanted to find out a little more about my genetic makeup. And as I started watching other videos, I realized that there are some other people that decided to use Gedmatch.com and DNA Land. So with that being said, I did those two. I used those two websites by uploading my raw DNA results from Ancestry.com. And if you want to, you can go and research how to upload your information. It's really easy. You have to download it in a zip file and then upload your raw information to these websites. But you can run multiple tests on Gedmatch, and DNA Land will give you a whole nother composition. It's an ancestry composition on their website to kind of break it down, and it gives you different breakdowns of your DNA so that you can compare and contrast. That's what I like to do. I was a psych major, so I love getting empirical data and being able to take both of these, all of my research from these different sites, and comparing and contrasting, kind of seeing if my DNA is telling the same story. And I want to say that it is definitely telling the same story. These other websites just allowed me to get more information and understand it more in depth. Okay, so I'm going to go with DNA Land first. DNA Land, as I updated my information, and I'll put a screenshot up for you all to see how it's broken down. As Ancestry.com gave me my information telling me that I am 90% African, that I am. And y'all, I gotta be honest with you, I'm a little ashamed at the fact that even though I know, by me being African American, I did not know much about the about Africa as a continent. And I think it's so important to research and know exactly where you come from. So by me being 90% African, I just kind of had my own schema, my own, thought process about how Africa is and all of that. But as I started researching these percentages about myself, I come to find out that Africans are very diverse people. Just like the United States, you could say that you're from America, but there's an array of people in America, different shades, different, ethnicities going on and all of that. So yes, I am 90% African, but now I have more of an understanding of my breakdown. So as you'll see, 90% African, but I'm 82% West African, okay? And that covers the lower Niger Valley, which is 67%, Mindi Akin is 8.9%, and Senegal River Valley is 5.5%. So that's my West African. And I am 5.2 East African, and I'm also 3.4 North African. Okay, so Ancestry.com said 1%, but I think they kind of shift the numbers around. They may take more from one area and place it in a different area, but it's basically the same. But it's showing that I'm 3.4% North African on this composition. Okay, so showing that I'm 7.3 West European, and that would be 3.7% Finnish, 1.3 Indo-Iranian. Okay. Then it said 1.3 ambiguous, 1.1 Southwestern European, and 1.2 ambiguous at the bottom. Now it's in a different section by itself, and 1.1% Siberian. Okay, so they give you pretty much like a synopsis at the bottom. So I learned that Lower Niger Valley includes Yoruba and Isan in Nigeria. Okay, so Mindi Akin, y'all, please bear with me with these names. So Mindi, Sierra Leone. Okay, that includes that area. Senegal River Valley includes Mandinka in Senegal and Gambian in West Gambia. Okay, so I'm like, come on, Mandinka. You know, we always hear about these Mandingo warriors and all that. So that's that area. That's what's up. Okay, so East African Bantu. I love this. And then it gives me some other tribes here, and I'm not even going to try to pronounce them because I don't want to jack up the spelling. But I did look up some of these tribes. Awesome information about all of them. Okay, so then I'm gonna go to North African. This is the part that really kind of surprised me. It shows Algerian and Mozabite in Algeria. I don't want to say it. Tunisian and Tunisia. Okay, and Sahara in Morocco, Western Sahara. Okay, so that includes that area. Finnish is basically Finland. Okay, then I have Indo-Iranian, which I'm not even going to try to pronounce those. Okay, but it's in Pakistan. Southwestern European, that is, I think I'm saying it right, Basque/French. And so that covers Spanish and Iberian population in Spain, which Ancestry.com did show me that percentage of Iberian Peninsula. Okay, Siberian, I'm not going to try to pronounce that, but it's showing Russia. Okay, some Russian. And then ambiguous West Eurasian is very general category containing Arab and Egyptian. Okay, amongst some other stuff that I just could not pronounce. So y'all, please be patient with me because I do not know how to pronunciate this stuff, but I will screenshot some stuff so you can read it and you can understand what I'm trying to say. Okay, so that was my DNA land results, which was pretty good. It was pretty accurate, and it kind of, you know, it really kind of supported what I got from Ancestry.com. But as I got the Gedmatch, y'all, Gedmatch is really not user friendly, but it is free. You have to learn how to operate these different tools, and some of it can be very confusing because you'll see numbers, and all numbers are not percentages. Some of them are actually showing you the population by comparing your DNA to the population, and then it is measuring according to distance. The bigger the number is, the further away in the distance it is, but the closer the number is, the closer it is in your ancestry or your DNA. It matches. Okay, so with that being said, I'm going to read to you some of the results that I got because I've done a series of different tests. Okay, after doing one test, I saw that it shows in distance that African American is like 2.86 in distance. So that's very close. Okay, 0 is the closest, which means it's spot on. Okay, but 2.8%, I mean, not percent, 2.86 is distance. So it's very close to 0, which means that is my DNA. Okay, that is me. But it also shows not too far from African American, it shows that Dominican is like 3, at 3. So with 3, we know that that's pretty close as well. So it's showing that my DNA matches with Dominicans. My DNA also matches with Puerto Ricans at 3.01. Okay, so I have some other DNAs that match up as well from Scottish, German South, Irish, all of these in the threes. English, Norwegian, okay, so French, Belgian, all of that is in threes. So that's pretty close in my DNA, which also corresponds with what I got, okay? So I was really surprised about the Dominican and the Puerto Rican thing, because I had just asked a question on my first video, and I was like, with these different ancestries or ethnicities that's in my ancestry, does that mean that I'm, this ethnicity? It's very confusing, but to see that my DNA matches up with Dominicans and Puerto Ricans, so that pretty much lets you know that it's definitely in my ancestry. The part that I love is that it did break down the African tribes for me. So I saw Gambian, I saw Igbo, I saw Mandinka again. I don't know if I'm saying this right, but it's Hausa, but that's Hausa. So that's another tribe in Africa. So I'm seeing tribes. I'm seeing a lot that really just blew my mind. This is another really interesting find that really blew my mind, was the fact that it showed in distance with my DNA that at a 5.69 Egyptian, okay, then I'm seeing Egyptian pop up again at 5.79. Okay, Egyptian popped up on my radar many times. Egyptian popped up again at 5.97. Ethiopian Jew popped up at 6.11. Then Libya popped up at 6.11. So it's not as close, but it's definitely there, showing that my distance is very close to Ethiopian Jews and Ethiopians. Okay, then I see Basque, which is Basque, and that's French people, at a 7. Okay, 7.89. So all of these things are pretty much equaling up to support what I just got from DNA Land. Okay, so I am really just kind of blown away, because I wouldn't have thought Ethiopian Jew at all. I wouldn't have thought Ethiopian at all, and I wouldn't have thought Egyptian. But I am seeing Algeria on here as a 5.42. Okay, so it put me at African Caribbean at a 4. So it's just really interesting. Looks like I'm kind of all mixed up here, but Gedmatch, it goes far back. It goes really, really far back, okay? And by me being very, like, almost 100% African, now I see that, like I said, that Africa is a lot going on in Africa. It's so many different people, and for me to have some Egyptian there, Egypt is in Africa. For me to have some, Ethiopian roots or Ethiopian Jews, that's in Africa as well. So I'm all over the continent. I am all over the continent. And so to see that all of these things are in my ancestry, or that this was in my family at one time, it is mind-blowing. It is mind-blowing to me, because this is a new find for me. But I will say, go and upload your raw DNA results from wherever you got it from, 23andMe, Ancestry.com, whatever, and upload it to these 2 different websites, because they're absolutely free. And if you could run tests and kind of dissect your DNA a little more, then I'm going to say, why not? You know what I'm saying? Why not learn? So there's so much more that I could share. There's so many tribes, that pulled up that is like my ancestry. Fulani is there, but I can't pronounce a lot of it, but it goes back so far. So if you think about it, I mean, in DNA it covers a lot of areas. It covers a whole lot of areas, but I really wanted to know, so I got my answer. I'm gonna read another test result that I got. African Caribbean at 5. Okay. Okay, Dominican came up again at 2.74, which is very close. Romanian came up at 2.85, and British came up at 2.8, which is very close. So again, these are not percentages, but it is basically showing how closely related my DNA is to the rest of these populations, which means that we share ancestry. Okay, so I'll read one more. It's showing African American at 1.73. That's very close. This is a different test again, showing Spanish at 2.25. So that would be Dominican, and that would be Puerto Rican again. I got 2.34 at Portuguese. Got 2.43 at Irish, 2.44 at French, 2.46 at Scottish. So it's a lot, but I share ancestry with all of this. So I just wanted to share that with you guys and let you know that it gives you a lot of information. Sometimes it's almost like system overload because it's so much information to share. But I think the most surprising for me is the Ethiopian and the Egyptian and the Ethiopian Jew. I think that was very surprising to me. So oh, and the Dominican and the Puerto Rican part. So I guess I finally answered the question from my first video. But thank y'all for tuning in. Go check out Gedmatch, check out DNAland.com and see how it works for you. Thank you for tuning in. Y'all have a blessed day. Peace.